what do you got? What's your question, man?
So we've been doing the Aspirin campaign. We started doing it religiously probably for the last couple of years. Of course, COVID created a bit of a challenge where not everybody was getting mail to their home offices. And so that was some challenge. But part of it is we weren't getting perhaps the stellar results that we were thinking about or originally dreaming about, perhaps. But I have been tracking all the numbers in the metric spreadsheets like the campaign recommends. So we've got some pretty good handle on our numbers now. We've got a part-time caller that's been doing it fairly regularly. So we're now at the point where we're doing 40 letters per week with a part-time caller. She's getting good at the script and understanding it. We're running at about a 0.8% response rate. She's a little discouraged on the one hand. I keep saying the numbers are within what I'm hearing from other peers and in groups like this. Is there a particular KPI we should be drilling into? Is it a matter of saying, this is in line, keep up the good work and keep at it? We are getting responses, but it's not, running through the front door.
And it ain't ever what you want, right? Let me tell you something. Marketing is about hitting a lot of singles, all right? Very few home runs. Even in my business, if I got to hit a home run with every campaign, I don't even start because it's just the chances of it are so slim. Let me share my screen with you. While you were talking, I was pulling this up to share with you. So I'm up on the dashboard. I'm in the appointment generating miracle. And I give some averages on that PowerPoint that might be helpful. So when we look at metrics and results, by the way, have you looked at this appointment generating miracle?
I have, not recently.
Okay.
So we'll need to refresh myself. And I don't know if it was version 3. That's the other thing. Yeah,
we redid it earlier this year. So just to give you some. Now let me give you our averages, TMT, right? Yep. When we're doing cold outbound prospecting, like your Aspirin campaign, right? We get to the decision maker 26% of the time, and then 10% are booking an appointment and 70% actually sit. So if we call 100 prospects, we talk to 26, schedule 2 to 3 appointments and have 1 to 2 sit, okay? When we call on engaged leads, somebody who just recently clicked or so forth, conversations with the decision maker, 23%, which I think is, I don't know. I think that's, I pulled the numbers, but I'm like, I think it's probably like 23, 26%, right? I always look for about 25%. It's kind of like the midterm, right? Appointments set from conversations is a little bit higher. It's 36% over 10, because these are people who recently clicked on an email that we sent out to go read a blog. Like we did an email blog post and they clicked on it to go read the blog post, and we call them. And then we're setting appointments. 36% of them are sitting in appointments. 72% are sitting. So again, we get a little bit higher sit rate. We'll get 6 out of 100, right? And those are engaged leads, right? Now, inbound, we get to the decision maker 28% of the time, and set appointments with 29% of it, and 71% sit, which that number has actually recently gone up for us. But if we talk to 100 prospects, we get 28 scheduled, 8 appointments, 5, 6 sit. And that's with inbound leads, people who are not just engaged. See, an engaged lead for us is we do an email broadcast and say, hey, we just posted this blog, and you click on it to go read the blog. That's not necessarily an inbound lead. It's someone who just engaged, right? Okay. Now the difference is an inbound is someone who just opted in and downloaded something or registered for a webinar. Okay. So I made sure I give those difference. All right. So just to give you a general stats, the typical full-time SDR, sales development rep, appointment setter, schedules an average of 15 sales meetings per month with 12 that sit. Now that is a big, broad, general average for SDRs. Okay. For MSPs, an SDR should be able to get to the decision maker at least 15 to 20% of the time. So that means if she calls 100 people, she should get to the CEO, she should talk to 15 to 20 CEOs and book 5 to 10% of those on meeting, roughly 1 per 100 prospects called. That is a big general average.
Which is what we're hitting, which is interesting. So, okay.
So she's not hitting a home run. Meaning like I have like, for example, I have one SDR that produces 3 times the appointments in production everybody else does. Same list, same tech, same offers, same script. Why is she? I don't know. You know what I mean? So you're always going to get superstars, but in general, this is what you're going to get. And when you, Ed, are running a business, you've got to do your numbers based on, okay, here's on average what we should be able to do, not Rockstar, because if you need rock stars, you can't grow a business on rock stars because there's not that many. You got to kind of base it on averages. So these are pretty basic standard averages. And so if you're producing this, then you're doing good, right? Now, you always want to try and beat average, right? So you might change the script up and try that, or you might change the list a little bit or whatever. But by and large, this is what you're going to get, right? And there's a lot of variables, like I say in this session, you know, who you're calling makes a difference, the relationship, if it's ice cold versus an older unconverted lead, the script, the offer, the person making the call, etc. So I wouldn't say make them frustrated. This is the minimum. We're always going to try and beat that.
Perfect. Appreciate that. I will do that.